Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tape traders of all shapes and sizes, thank you again for joining me. I'm JD Sloan, and this is another episode of the Tape Trader's Guide to 90s Pro Wrestling. On today's episode, I'm gonna play a portion of an interview I did with Francisco Ciatso, and then later on, Jeremiah Plunkett kind of sits in, and we do a little bit about their tag team. This is the last hour and a half or hour 20 minutes of interview series that I'm filming called Grizzled. Francisco Ciatso's Grizzled is Volume 1. It is available for order now from WrestleTopia. So if you want to go to facebook.com/1 WrestleTopia, you can contact me there. It's $10. It's a great interview, but we just kind of touch on the AWA days, his move to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the movie, the documentary Journeyman, and then his venture back to Florida, all the different things that have happened in between there, his opportunity to become the WWN trainer. So I hope everyone enjoys this. Like I said, it's about an hour and 20 minutes, and I filmed this not thinking about doing this as a podcast, but when we met up at the New South Arena to finish the shoot, I thought, hey, why not? Why don't I plug in my microphone and record underneath the filming? So the volume is a little bit low, and that's just because of where the microphone was positioned. So maybe turn up your volume a little bit, and I really hope you enjoy this, and thanks for listening. So I'm going to simulcastly record a podcast at the exact same time.
Okay.
So we'll shoot. We're doing.
Are you doing from here up?
Yeah, I'm shooting from.
So I can put my water bottle.
Yeah.
When we did at the hotel, I got a Diet Mountain Dew can the whole time, and the whole time I'm watching the clips he's sending me, all I can see is that freaking Diet Mountain Dew can between my legs.
It was perfect though.
Between my legs. No, I'm not touching that. There's Banjo. Nope.
Biggest kid dynamite, so I have AIDS.
Oh. Yuck.
All right, are you ready?
So I moved here, right? That's what.
We're gonna start off moving to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Deciding like.
Yeah, deciding
okay,
we're gonna move.
We're gonna do this, and we're all in, and then everything falls apart after you're all in.
All right.
All right, 3, 2.
So I remember sitting there with Stormy saying, and using the quote that Michael Jordan used, and of course I typically don't use these things with her because she usually calls me out on my bullshit. But I said, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So I said, this is a shot we got to take. I've done Deep South, I've been to Impact, Ring of Honor, I've done, been to England and China, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and all these places. And I haven't really, in my opinion, really got my shot. I've had several small shots, but this, to me, and the way I looked at it, the way Chase had explained it to me, and not to take a shot at him because he did the best he could with what he knew and what he was dealing with, and gave us all the information to the best of his knowledge. This was a shot. There was legitimate money behind this. There was a legitimate company. I mean, I did my research. I just didn't pack up my car on a whim. I did my research. And I looked her up, and I looked Leah Hulan up, and I looked up the Rumpus Bell bonds, and I looked up these companies. Everything was legitimate. The money that was behind it was exactly what was explained, and everything was on the up and up. So we took a chance and we took a shot, and we moved to the thriving metropolis of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and with the hopes of running this wrestling company as well as the reality show, of course. And I think the reality show was really kind of pushed to the wayside a little bit. Not a lot of people talk about it. The whole idea of this whole thing wasn't just AWA. It wasn't just that. It was the whole thing of the reality show. The reality show for wrestling, nobody cares about. Nobody would give a shit. Nobody would have cared about a reality show for bail bondsmen. Put those two things together. Now you got something. Well, how cool would that be? We're getting ready to hit the ring, and Chase Stevens and Francisco Ciatso have to saddle up and go put somebody in handcuffs. Hopefully more Chase Stevens than me, because I didn't want to really put anybody in handcuffs. I just wanted to pretend. But nonetheless, I mean, it was a really cool concept, and we all bought into it. Myself, Stormy, but hell, Damian Wayne, his wife. So it wasn't just us that moved here. There was a lot of people that believed her and took her to her word. And you would think guys that have been in the business for as long as we have would have been able to see right through her. And I racked my brain over and over and over again trying to figure out how I let this pass me, because for many years I kind of prided myself on being able to call people on their bullshit. She was good. She was good, man. And still good to this day. There's not a day that goes by I don't look at an obituary and try to see that she's dead somewhere or somebody put her in the ground. I swear to God, I'll throw a party when it happens. Because she's an evil human being. She's terrible. She's a horrible mother, horrible human being, horrible woman. I really don't think that there's a good bone in her body. And someone who hides behind the Bible, and I'm not a religious person whatsoever, someone who manages to hide behind the Bible as well as she does, it doesn't belong with the rest of us on this earth. She doesn't belong with having such an amazing daughter that she has. And I feel really bad for that girl because she's the one that's ultimately going to suffer when her mom gets run over by an 18-wheeler, which I hope is today.
Well, I don't... So, you know, so kind of talk about the plan for the touring, because the whole idea of this touring company, you know, what was it supposed to be, 4 days a month?
Yeah, it was 4 days a month. Yeah. So kind of talk about that, because that seemed ambitious, but like you said, I mean, the money was there, so it's like, why couldn't this work? There's no reason why it couldn't work, other than her ego got in front of the whole entire thing, and it wasn't a pro wrestling show. So what was the idea, though? Well, the idea was 4 days a month, and Chase had a very ambitious dream of 4 days a week. And
right.
Now, to his credit, that's extremely ambitious. To the discredit of that, without having the crew available, without having the manpower to do something like that, from production to promoting to even the wrestling portion itself, 4 days a week, that's rough when you don't have the manpower to do it. I remember our ring crew and our production guys, yourself. I mean, I would never forget, it might have been Gallatin, I can't remember the exact town that we were in. I remember I sat down next to you and I looked at you.
Fairfield.
Fairfield, yeah, Fairfield.
Fourth day of the 4 days.
Fourth day of the 4, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, you literally looked at me and you were gray. Like I asked you if you were okay, and you were like, man, I don't even feel like I'm alive. And it didn't really click to me just how hard that you guys were working to put this thing together for us. And you know, the 4 days a month was the first ambition, and we came in for the first tour. And I say tour because I've been on legitimate tours, but we called this a tour. We got snowed in, the first one, and we did 1 date out of 4.
Yeah.
Got paid for all 4, which is great. Which is ultimately what really kind of sparked me, you know, to make the move.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's,
you can trust this.
I trusted her. She took us out to dinner. I saw the tab, and it was well over $1,500, and it was spare no expense, right? So red flag should have went up, but the worker part of me was like, hey, I'm getting taken care of for the first time in a long time, so I'm going to ride this wave for as long as I can ride it, right? Well, and we did, you know, so we made the decision to move, and again, to Chase's credit, I remember the conversation he and I had. He goes, brother, just give it a chance, let it get off the ground first before you pick up and move. And I didn't listen, and a lot of people don't know that. And Chase did not deter us from moving here, but he was looking out for us. He really was, and he did his credit with looking out for one of the boys, and Stormy lumped into that as well. Sometimes she walks like she's one of the boys. That's a whole other story for another time. But that being said, you know, he really did try to kind of deter us and kind of slow us down a little bit, you know. But of course, I've never been one to listen to anybody, and I full speed ahead, you know. And we packed up everything and headed to Nashville, and you know, we did it without a second thought. Like we when I say we did research, we did, but it wasn't this big, long, drawn out 6-month discussion, and it was, we sat down one night, we said, let's do it. And she said, you sure? You know, I said, it's you and me, kid, let's do it. And we did. And we moved here. The first day, she met us at the house in Murfreesboro, helped us unpack our truck, load our house, gave us jobs at the bail bonds company. And I was doing her books because I had an accounting background. And I was literally finding money for her that was lost. You know, the money wasn't lost.
That she, right.
The money wasn't lost. So she didn't count on me being a smart wrestler. She counted on me being some dum-dum who, you know, lifted heavy things and put them down. Well, because I have a finance and accounting background, I found that money immediately, okay? Cash that was coming in, that was to her, okay? In her books, it's pretty obvious what was going on here, but the money wasn't accounted for. She was hiding money from the IRS. It didn't take a genius to figure that out.
Right.
Anybody with a basic math background could have really figured that out, but she really didn't count on that. That being said, when I came to her and I said, hey, the look on her face was not of horror, but just like, well, fuck, now what do I do? Because this guy found my money, you know. Needless, that's what she hired me for, right? So we got past that and started sending me out in the truck with the vest on and the badge and the whole 9 years. I had no training on how to do any of this crap, you know. I can handle myself, but it's a big difference between handling yourself in a bail bondsman. You got to go abide by certain laws, certain rules, certain things. You can't just yank people out of bed, and you know, it's not like the movies. You know, there's legitimate things you have to follow, or you get shot and dead. You know, there's big differences. So there was really no, when we moved here, the bail bond side of it was where the first red flag started going on. You know, the wrestling still hadn't, no red flags started going up because everything was working fine. You know, we had Dumb Shooter here promoting the shows, you know, get paid $400 a week to go leg work. You know.
And the April tour was successful.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Every 300 people each and every.
It was packed every show, and we were rocking and rolling, and we had some, again, just like in film Journeyman, it was the best of the best of the best. We had everybody, you know, outside of Jeremiah Plunkett, which we suggested, and I want to say next, he's sitting right over there. But I'll never forget having a conversation about talent, and we were trying to. There he is, Journeyman. That's it. The other half is my better half, Journeyman. I remember having meetings about talent, and she couldn't grasp the fact and understand of what it takes to build a company. You have to have these guys, like you had to have your Gangrels, you had to have your Tracy Smothers, you had to have, you know, your Chase Stevens, you had to have your Wolfie Dees, you had to have these guys in order to build your younger talent. And of course, she didn't understand that, just like we didn't understand the bail bonds business. She was trying to come in and tell us how to run our wrestling portion of the business. And because she was such an egotistical, maniacal twat, her face and tits were on the cover of every poster. Well, doesn't take a genius to figure out we're in Tennessee, we're in the middle of a Bible Belt here. Okay, you know how many times we went out to promote or do meet and greets? First thing on people's minds were, hey, this looks great except for her. You know, we can't show this to kids, we can't get this up in our school, we can't put this up in our store window because this woman looks like she's straight out of a C-rated porn video from 1971.
It looked like burlesque shows.
It's exactly what it looked like. It's funny you said burlesque. Yeah. That's a term that was used. I
didn't realize what a bad reputation she had until I started to work for her.
Yeah.
I always just saw her on TV and thought, oh, I thought the whole deal was a work. I thought it was a persona. And she was this ditzy idiot with big tits, but she was smart, making all this money.
Smarter than all of us.
But you know what? She was an idiot. She was just a straight up idiot.
She got lucky.
And people did not like her. And when they saw her associated to it, they were like, nope, we don't want no part of that.
When you know who Fred Ottman is, of course.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about. And I became very good friends with him over the years. And his wife, Sheila, when we moved here, I remember I told her I was moving to Murfreesboro. I said, hey, that's my old hometown. I used to live there. And I said, oh, it's awesome. I said, well, my office, the AWA office, is actually in Franklin. She goes, Franklin, Tennessee? I said, yeah. She goes, that's where I went to high. She went to school in Franklin, Tennessee. She goes, who are you working for? And I said Leah's name, and Sheila, bless her heart, she's an older lady, and she goes, fuck her. She is a piece of shit. And I remember just going, my face turned red because Sheila's like this little old lady. She's like sweet and nice, and Fred's this big, gentle old man, and he's just, and his face got red, and I was just like, oh my God, she was correct. I didn't know how to take that, you know? Uh-huh. And then I started thinking, okay, well, not everybody likes everybody. Not everybody's cup of tea, so who knows, right? So like, when I first started going around towns and started mentioning her name, and she wasn't as well liked as I thought. Okay? And again, business is business. When you run your own business, you're going to make enemies. If you have friends, you're not a successful business person. So I've learned that over the years. But the amount of people that disliked her, and it wasn't just women. It wasn't women because she had tits or she was attractive. It was women, guys, grandfathers, grandmothers, people, cops, bankers, lawyers. People just did not like her at all. Okay. And for someone who did a service in getting people out of jail, you would think she would have a few more friends, you know, help out. And you know, the red flags that started going up with the wrestling portion was after the April tour, which was extremely successful. Was when we got to around, I think it was June.
Yeah.
And she decided she wanted to like expand and go further out from where she was comfortable and where she had her commercials and where she had her billboards and where she had her like Knoxville. Why would you go to Knoxville?
Yeah.
Knoxville was a disaster. And I remember thinking
to a 21 and up bar.
Right. And it baffled me, and it showed that she really didn't understand what it would take to promote a show. And I remember Chase and I sitting down with her going, literally, it was black and white. Here's how much it's going to cost. Promote. Here's how much everything's going to cost. Here's how much we're going to, at best, if we bring in, we're going to not even break even. Okay, so we're already on the losing end of the slate on our second or third tour. Okay, it's not good. You know. So that being said, we tried to get her to cancel Knoxville. She was hell bent, just like the MTSU Center, when she told us it was going to cost $5,000 to go in there, and they wanted like $17,000, and she was like, "You're not going to fucking tell me what to do." And she writes them a check. Boy, she sure fuck them. You're fuck me, no fuck them. I'm going to write you this check for $17,000. God damn it, you're not going to. What a mark!
And have 300 people in a building.
Yeah, I remember looking at this. I remember I sent the picture to Ron Nemi, and he goes, "So when the doors open?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's 5 minutes to bell time." I said, "We're an hour difference from you guys." And he goes, "Wait, hold up. you're an hour away, or 5, whatever it was. It was real close to bell time. He goes, there's nobody in the building. He goes, that place holds like 7,000, 8,000 people. I said, yep. I said, I lost count around 185 people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like
there
was
300 people,
there
and at the
500,
Armory,
it
it would have been standing room only. You know, I mean, it would have looked great, and there would have been people all over the place.
Yep.
People came dressed up. That was like, that whole thing was, everything fell apart after that, little by little, and it got so degrading because it's like, the shows, Springfield had 300 people. The next time we show up, it had 150 people. Then we show up and it had 75 people.
Yeah.
And it's like, where did all those people go? Because we're all promoting just as hard. But then you realize that what was being promoted is not what people wanted to go and see.
I sat with her and I said, have you ever heard of a lemonade stand? She goes, of course I've heard of a lemonade stand. I said, okay, if on Monday you sell 5 glasses of lemonade, and on Tuesday you sell 2, and on Wednesday you sell 1, and Thursday you sell 0. That's going in a wrong direction in business. So you run a business, you should understand that, right? She goes, what do you call me, stupid? I said, no, I'm trying to get you to understand how the wrestling business works. I said, this is no different than any other business. You have to go in a profitable direction or you're going to sink. It doesn't matter if it's a lemonade stand, if you make pizza, or you own a wrestling company. You have to go in a profitable direction, or at least breaking even. You have to be coming close to breaking even. And when you got the MTSU Center at 17 grand, and then you're bringing in, you know, no offense to Joe, but you're bringing in Animal for, you know, God knows how much, and then you got Gangrel, and then you got Chase, you got the payroll for all of us. You know, you're talking, 20 grand right out the hoof.
Yeah.
Without even blinking an eye, 20 grand. And it wasn't, I remember Chase telling me that something as simple as a copy machine, that you would make copies for pictures or whatever. There's about 20 different ones. She gets the one for like 3 grand. Chase goes, you could have bought one for $150. What are you doing? Take that back. Don't tell me we're getting the best. You see where that landed us. She redid a whole building for 40 grand or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And granted, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
But why?
I mean, what a great concept.
But
But why?
Why?
She was avoiding paying $50 for a $50 hotel room. She spent 40 grand to avoid $50 hotel rooms. Okay. Over the course of 10 years, sure. Okay. Great. Over the course of 6 months, not so profitable.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're talking best of the best. We're talking good furniture here. We're not talking like, big lots. Okay?
Yeah, the AWA office. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you need an AWA office?
She wanted to call it AWA Tower. She wanted to buy the building next to her and build a second one, or renovate a second. I was like, you out of your mind?
But
we
now
don't have any wrestlers.
The hotel though, there was a purpose for that.
There was a purpose for it, and unfortunately, again, that's something that was paid for itself over time. It wasn't something that was going to pay for itself in 6 months. I get where you want everybody in one area to get it, and it was going to be part of the reality show. So it was set up for the Hollywood look, and it was, I got and understood the show side of why she was doing what she was doing. We're talking scan design furniture. We're not talking big lots. So we're talking 8 rooms, okay? Each room had a bed, a dresser, mirror, whole 9 yards. We're talking each room probably about 3,000 or 4,000 on the low side, okay? 8 rooms, do the math, okay? And then of course you had her house, or whatever that was, where the bail bonds office was literally, I think I've never walked naked footed. Is that English? Naked footed? Naked foot naked? No shoes on, whatever. My toes on a bear, like an actual bear skin. I don't think that ever happened. And the head, the face of the thing, the bear was there. It was the face. It was just like the movies. Yeah. And I wanted to take all my clothes off and roll around naked on it because I had seen that in the movies. I was like, I got to do this. But it was amazing. Like I got lost. The gym was like Al Capone's lair. Like I didn't even know she said the gym's downstairs. I walked around downstairs for half an hour thinking I was being ribbed. And then finally I pushed the door and it was like, and then walk into this layer of the gym.
Massages?
Yeah.
Massages?
Yeah, I wish I would have got a Chinese massage. I didn't get that though.
But I mean, talk about the thrones. The thrones that were built, you're spending, I think they were $2,500 a piece.
Well, there was 3. A lot of people don't know there was 3. There was 2 for her and Chase. When have you ever known Chase, other than a toilet, when have you ever known Chase Stevens to sit on a goddamn throne? He's not king. He's never done a king gimmick. Yeah. Okay? But in her ridiculous, conceited mind,
none of it was what, nobody wanted to come and see her sitting, and she would, during the matches, she would sit on the throne. Yeah. And look, for one, look like an idiot. Yeah. Doing nothing. But then when people would look at her, she'd start doing these weird dances and nobody wanted it. It was so useless.
Snake charmers, I wish he would have charmed the fucking cobra. They're right in your fucking face.
Right.
But you're right, though. And I remember her telling me and explaining this to everybody meeting that she wanted her and Chase to sit on these thrones the whole show. And Chase was trying to explain to her, I'm a wrestler. What am I going to do when I get to wrestle? She goes, well, you just go to the ring from the throne. She couldn't get through her head that we're not sitting out there all night long. We have work to do. We got a show to run. You can't sit out there all night. You can.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know. But we can't. So
but they were the finest of wood, and
each one there was three. There was the two that matching ones that her and Chase had. They were anywhere between $2,500 and $4,000. Who cares? What if they were more than $3? I didn't give a shit. It was too much money. Then there was one that was in some office in Gallatin, I think, because I went there one time, and there was one that was just for her, $7,000. Right? That doesn't even call it the sedan chair. I don't even know what a sedan chair was until I moved here. I don't know what a sedan chair was. A sedan is a car. I didn't know they had chairs too. It was a sedan chair, and it was supposed to give the illusion that people were carrying her to the ring like King Haku. Okay, but there was no job guys. It was just a bunch of guys carrying her to give the illusion that they were carrying her in midair. It was the most, but it rolled. It was $10,000, 10 grand. Okay, just in set, fake lions, dragons, which by the way had nothing to do with Roman times. Okay, I'm not really sure where dragons came from, but there was 3 of them in the AWA hotel, which scared the piss out of me because I came in this dark and I came out of a fucking elevator and a goddamn dragon right in my face. I was like, what is happening, right? Fake lions that Cassidy Riley loves.
And those things, they weighed 400, 500 pounds.
Yeah, it took 4 you guys to carry
people to carry.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't like, there wasn't like hooks that you could put. No, this was a lion. It was shaped like a lion. It was built like a lion. It was 400 fucking pounds. And guys had to carry this off a truck. Yep. 2 of them. And then there was stuffed wolves. Not really sure what stuffed wolves.
Remember what's the gimmick called that she sat on? At and the guys had to carry her out.
The sedan chair. That's what I'm talking about. But they didn't actually pick it up. It was on wheels. Oh. It was it made to look like it was being carried. That's what I'm talking about. At least King Haku made these guys carry his ass in the fucking goddamn ring. I wish they would have, and I wish they would have dumped her right in the goddamn front row when she would have broken that. But paralyzed from like the face down, she could just blink like this. He was walking with a poker in the fucking face. But it was so much waste. And I remember Chase telling me, he goes, I just want a ring, maybe a couple lights, guardrails, chairs. We'll build the rest. He goes, just like, they'll come. Build it, they'll come.
You sell tickets, you make money, you buy more stuff.
The set, it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It was beautiful. It was the absolute most beautiful set I've ever seen on the Independence. Okay? That and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee because nobody cares. Because if you can't produce in the ring and you can't draw people back, all the set in the world doesn't mean shit. Okay? And we had the talent. But unfortunately, we weren't allowed to promote it and put the money in the right places to get those crowds back. You can't just, in this area is saturated with pro wrestling. Nashville has been a mecca of pro wrestling for as long as I can remember. And myself, I started one of my first matches I had in Nashville, Tennessee. So this place has been saturated with wrestling, so we had to give them something they hadn't already seen. Okay, we couldn't give them, no offense, Chase Stevens and Chris Michaels. We couldn't give them. We had to give them something different. And again, it's not crapping on them; they're fantastic, but we had to give them something different, and we tried. Unfortunately, you can have Hulk Hogan across the street. If the people don't know he's there, it doesn't matter. And again, you're bringing in Gangrel, you're bringing in Animal, you're bringing in Tracy Smothers, you're bringing in, all these guys in indie talent from all over the country, guys that moved here like Damian Wayne, you got Micah Taylor, Tracy, Stormy, Rebel, and it didn't matter because no matter King Shane and Queen Taylor, no matter who you brought in, it didn't make a difference because it was all about her. It wasn't about the wrestling. At the end of the day, this was another vehicle to get herself over. And that's the mind fuck of the entire thing was that guys like Chase have been around forever, me, Amy, Chris Michael, all these guys, Micah, and everybody's been around for so long, you would think we would have saw right through this, but I think we were so excited and so enthralled by there actually being money behind something, because I don't know how many times you've heard, man, there's money behind this, and the guy can't buy a Happy Meal at McDonald's. And this was different. So we thought, unfortunately, the money was really just for her and to put herself over. So it's unfortunate, but the chips fell where they may, and she hasn't died yet. So hopefully I get my wish this Christmas.
So it started in January, and September was the last tour. At this time, you'd already, when did you meet Carver?
I had, believe it or not, I didn't actually meet James until I came here to work for the first time.
Right.
When AWA crashed and crumbled, and I'll back up a second. I remember I met
because it
Chase
was right before the last tour, right? When you came here.
It might have been. It might have been right before. It might have been. You're right. It might have been right before. It was close.
Yeah.
It was either right before or right
close.
after. It was
Yeah.
real close. I remember meeting Chase for dinner, and he was defeated. He looked defeated. I'd never seen Chase not walk with his head up, and he was slumped over in a chair. Didn't look like he slept in weeks. We're all broke. Nobody's. I had no idea that his paychecks had stopped 6, 7, 8 weeks before they had. I also didn't know that he showed up to the last show that we had with the payroll, with his tax return money, that he was going to willingly pay everybody because he didn't think she was going to pay anybody, and the guys were going to go without being paid. That's the kind of person he was. That being said, you kind of see the writing on the wall, and you start trying to look for different avenues. So we're in Tennessee. I get wrestle 7 days a week here. So, but I didn't know anybody. We've been doing the AWA stuff. I really didn't. I didn't have to reach out. This was my job. I was working to try to build this company. So I got the name from James Carver, or Chase, James Carver, and I called him or texted him, messaged on Facebook, whatever it was. And somebody else had run this at one point, and he had just taken it over. And he goes, give me a couple weeks, give me a month, let me get everything rolling. And he goes, Chase already told me about you, and you with Murfreesboro, so good fit, you're here, let's go get your license. And he said, just give me about a month. And so in the midst of all that, AWA crashed and crumbled, sank to the bottom of the sea. We're homeless. We're just about homeless. We're broke. We had literally no money. Stormy and I, which is of course the start of our film, which we I touched on already. But nonetheless, I called James and I said I got to come to work. And we literally had no food in the fridge. I don't joke about that. It's not it's something I'll laugh about now, but it's not anything that was funny. And I said I really need to come to work. And he goes, all right, come here, and we'll see what we got for you. Just come here and we'll talk. I already been licensed. And I remember I came here the first day, and we joke about it. It was a big fight in the back, and a big brawl. And I remember calling Stormy, going, "I'm home. I'm home. This is it. Where we're gonna be. We're gonna work. We're gonna start over from scratch." And but the feeling here was like I was home. Like everybody was. I think my first match was against Eric Andrews. I think in this building. And from him to Derek to Plunkett to you name it, James, concession girls, everybody was just, they were forthcoming. Everyone was accommodating and wasn't worried about their spot. Nobody was worried about, there's new guys coming in, bringing his wife, this is going to be my spot. No, everyone was cool. It was a team atmosphere, and we had a lot of fun from the first night. And I knew that I belonged to him. And James took really good care of me. And the money I made here was put food in the fridge. That's not an angle. That's not a part to put myself over or put James over. It was legitimate. It was real. And had it not been for this place and the guys here and the weekly work, we would have went without food a lot of weeks. But it was this place and that feeling that really kind of sparked me to get myself back in the game. Because I was ready to quit. I was done. I was finished. I was like, I can't have another failure. I can't have this happen again. Tuck the tail between my legs back to Florida. Sorry, boys, fucked up again. And I started training here. I would come here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, start working out with James Stevens, which kind of sparked me to really kind of want to train and really kind of found that I had a niche for it, and which I never knew I had. I didn't know I could really love anything more than I would pop in the crowd or be in the ring, as a performer, as a wrestler. And I did. I remember working with young Sean Hurley, and his sister and John Hurley and Rebecca Reese and a lot of other James students that were here and really seeing them develop and see where Sean's at now and where John's at now and Rebecca's at now. And I had even a small hand in that. It means a lot to me because had it not been for that, I probably would have went off the deep end.
So at this time, it's kind of like a perfect storm because you're meeting James Carver, you're coming here to New South, you're locked into your apartment in Murfreesboro. AWA is crumbling and falling apart. And then the Journeyman thing happened. Like everything happened. The worst and what could possibly be the best all kind of took place all at one time.
It did, and it was kind of weird how it happened because Paul Stewart, director of Journeyman, was somebody I knew from Florida, and I couldn't really consider him a friend at the time. He was somebody I worked with. I knew him from this company in Florida he worked there called Vintage Wrestling, and he came and he did some film for some local TV stuff we did there, and did some spots for WWE actually with Goldust, and he did some stuff with us called Wrestle Brawl, and myself and my partner at the time, Simon, had this feud, and he came up with his angle and did such good videography that it drew NXT guys to come out to watch this stuff that was on commercial that they'd seen on TV, and his work was fantastic. Well, needless to say, I had no idea he moved to Nashville. hits me up on Facebook one day and says, hey, I live in Nashville. I just moved here a couple weeks ago. He goes, let's meet up. He goes, I kind of heard about what happened a little bit and kind of want to get your take on it. And I got an idea. And I really had no idea what he was talking about. I just knew I was broke and I couldn't go to TGI Fridays because I had no money. With change in my pocket, barely. So me and Stormy went, and we sit down with him, and he asked me how we were. I kind of laid out what had happened, and he goes, at the end of that, he goes, well, I want to tell your story. And I remember I laughed at him. I laughed at his face. I said, Stormy, just, we don't have a check. I was going to say, get our check. We don't have one. We just have waters. I said, Paul, I'm going to go to the bathroom, wash my hands, and get out of here. I said, I appreciate it. Thanks. And I literally walked away, went and washed my hands, came back, sat back down, and he goes, I was serious. He goes, I want to tell your story. And I said, what story? I said, we're broke. We have no money. We got nothing. I said, another failure. I'm fuck up, bum. Nothing. Well, what do you want from me? I go, who wants to hear that story? They want to see Rocky. They don't want to see this. And he goes, trust me. He goes, trust me. Give me 6 months. He goes, at the end of the 6 months, it's not what you want. He goes, I'll throw the footage away. He goes, we'll toss it and go our separate ways. He goes, trust me. Believe me when I tell you. Let me do this. And he goes, I said, how much is it going to cost me? In the wrestling, first words out of everybody, how much is it going to cost me? You don't have anything to do. It's not going to cost you anything but your time and a spot in the car. He goes, you sleep on a floor, I sleep on a floor. You sleep on a car, I'll sleep in a car. You sleep at a hotel, I'll sleep at a hotel. He goes, I'll stay at your house some nights. He goes, I'm going to record every aspect of your life for the next 6 months. And I looked at Stormy, and she looked at me, and I said, well, what do we got to lose? We lost everything already, so what do we have to lose? Maybe this will turn out to be something. So we did, and he had thrilled us. And we went to throughout the Midwest, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Carolinas, here, New South, and all points in between, and he literally, you're talking hundreds of hours worth of footage between here and Florida and Carolinas, everywhere we went, and all up until, our move day, when we ended up moving back to Florida, and not to give, of course, the ending away, but obviously the ending, the movie's given away because I don't live here anymore, but all up until that very day, he was there recording and never faltered, he took time away from his family and his responsibility and his, job and, as a director and so on to do this pro bono, knowing full well that there was more of a chance he was wasting his money and time than the opposite, okay? Me, I was just cynical. I was like, this is a joke. I'm going to end up, this is another failure is going to be under the notch's belt. So, but it turned out where, like you said, the worst turned into quite possibly one of the best. Since then, Journeyman has kind of taken on a life of its own. Just like any film, it does take a while to get something off the ground, especially when you're an independent director, an independent filmmaker, because there isn't a production budget. It was him and a camera and a slide bar and fig bars and Gatorade bottles and whatever we could muster up, and me and a camera and Stormy. That was it, and our story. And with that, he took that footage back, and at the end of the 6 months, he got to work, and it really got to work, and we made magic out of this. And started out at Poe's Gym, which Poe is absolutely phenomenal, and anybody who's in the Nashville area and wants a gym to work out at, Poe's Gym is probably the best powerlifting, old school, like pipes hanging out of the ceiling, chalk everywhere, tough, badass gyms in the city. And please tell him I sent you because he's a fantastic individual. Had it not been for Poe, we probably wouldn't be sitting here because I remember Paul goes, hey, I need a Rocky III gym. I said, what are you talking about? When Apollo took Rocky, his gym in California, old school, pipes hanging out, everybody sweating, snarling, snorting, powder everywhere, but not the good powder, chalk powder. Don't get all hot, don't call it corporate, that's the kind of gym I want. So I literally got online, and within 5 minutes I found Poe's. I said, that's our place. And we went, I called, he invited us there, we went, we looked at the place, walked in 2 seconds, I was like, this is it, this is where we got to start. And we did. And from that point on, for the very first clip art poster design, sitting at the edge of that bench, I knew we had something special. From seeing the first clips that he sent me, I knew we had something special. It wasn't because it was mine or Stormy's, because if it was yours or Jeremiah's or James or somebody else's, I would feel the same way, because the magic that he was able to create with what we did was something I'll never be able to understand or replicate. And I owe it all to him, because I did the easy part. I just sat there and talked like I'm doing now and just do what I'm paid to do, which is wrestle and entertain. And he just sat there with the camera and then did what he was born to do, which is just create magic with I mean, anybody can make me look good on camera. It's got to be a genius. But Journeyman has just taken on a life of its own. Global Genesis has been fantastic with getting the name out there. We just recently won, LA Film Awards Best Documentary, which was unbelievable. So it's been a really cool ride. which kind of really started like here. Like it's one of the first places we got started with the whole thing. So it's cool to be back here and be able to do this.
And it really was kind of crazy how, everything really came into place, because it's not like Paul didn't film you taking one shot a week at the same place. It's like everything really just it all came together, and the name Journeyman, is so appropriate, especially for your career, the longevity of it, and the way that everything kind of took place with the bookings and the traveling, going up the coast, down the coast, New York, back to Nashville, back to back and forth. But at the same time, that love, like you were talking about for the training, all of a sudden opportunities really started to kind of pop up, all at this exact same time, which is so crazy because it's all caught in the film. The lowest to really the highest, and so...
You said it, you said perfect storm.
Yeah, and so kind of talk about how those opportunities came about, and talk about what came of those.
Well, I was still working for WWN at the time, of course, with Sal Hamoy, and I was working for FIP and ACW, and had never really thought of training anybody, really. I mean, I've helped out with working out with some guys, showing some things, and give some advice and feedback, but never running a wrestling school or taking on that role or position was never in a million years something I would have thought that I'd be able to do. And I remember Sal had called me, offered me the Style Battle tournament on WWN's brand. And of course I took it because Style Battle was kind of hot at that point. It was something they were trying out. And I was going to be working with Fred Yehi. I always say his name wrong. So that was an opportunity in itself, work with him. He was fantastic talent, still is. And so I grabbed that opportunity. I remember we got to Tampa, and Sal wanted to sit down and talk to Stormy and I, and took us to breakfast and said, hey, what would you ever think about moving back home and running the WWE Training Center? And I just looked at him and I said, well, I thought you already had one. And it was run by prior to this, it was run by Bag of Shit Earl Cooter, by Brian Iles. Terrible. And I don't know how anybody would want to get trained by a guy. It's a shoot interview. I can say whatever I want. Too bad shit with eyes. But nonetheless, I thought, I had no idea that had gone away. I figured they still had it. But they didn't. And he was asking me, and Sal doesn't ask anybody for anything. He never, unless he's serious, he doesn't, not going to waste his time or yours. And so I kind of came away with, the idea of, this might actually happen. Maybe he wants me to really run this wrestling school. Well, like anything else in wrestling, I leave, I do Style Battle, I leave, I go, come back to work at FIP the very next month. And I'm sitting upstairs, and he calls me down, calls me the Crow's Nest upstairs in Ybor City. And he goes, hey, did you give any more thought to running the wrestling school at the WWE Training Center? And I said, so you're really serious about that? He goes, Mike, I need you here in 30 days. We're opening the doors. I need you here. It's with you and Matt Seidel. And I remember going upstairs, texting Stormy, because she was on the other side of the Crow's Nest. And I said, hey, getting ready to go to the ring. I said, we got to find a house. We're moving to Florida. She was like, wait, what? I said, gotta go. The next thing you know, my music hits, so I go to the ring. And I could see her standing up at the Crow's Nest like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I go to the ring, do my thing, come back. And we got in the car that night, and she goes, well, hold on, are you serious? Like, he wants us to move home? What are we going to do? We don't have any money. So I said, well, we got to do this. This got another opportunity, here we go, another opportunity, But, I knew that, I know Sal's reputation. I've been well versed in the WWN brand. It's been around for a long time. Hell, Sal and Gabe, Sal Hamoy and Gabe Sapolsky helped start Ring of Honor. And then when they split off from Ring of Honor, of course, that's where Evolve came from, and was the birth child of Bryan Danielson, believe it or not, the Evolve name and so on. A lot of people don't know that. So I knew that the company wasn't going anywhere, and I knew what Sal's vision was, and I've worked with him for many years, and so we kind of sat down with her parents and made the decision to move home, and told them where our goals were. Scariest thing in my life, because here I am taking their daughter yet again on another roller coaster ride, back home from when we moved, borrowing money to move in the first place was a big risk that we took to move home, but it worked out, and WWE Training Center is revered right now as one of the biggest wrestling schools in the country. We've got a direct pipeline with NXT, great working relationship with Gabe Sapolsky and Evolve and Hunter himself, and just the whole NXT program and the WWE machine, being a part of that, even a small part of that, is phenomenal. And being able to train tomorrow's stars, because as much as we like to think we're not Superman, we can't do this forever, and eventually we've got to kind of hang our boots up, and if I can leave the business just a little bit better than the way I found it, even if it's through one student or one trainee, in one way, shape, or form, whether it's wrestling, refereeing, managing, ballet, production, doesn't make a difference. If I can make that difference with just one person, then I did my job. And we use a term in WWE called cultivating talent. And as a term, of course, we stole from Triple H, and it's what we do here is cultivate talent. And so I try to emulate that every day at the training center, is to take the opportunity that I was given and pass along the knowledge that I was fortunate enough to have from Adrian Street and Bill Vermont and Dean Taylor, and now working alongside with, luckily be able to work alongside people like Norman Smiley and William Regal and Coach Brookside, and it is phenomenal. And I'm learning myself day in and day out. I mean, it's as much as I'm training all the kids, and I call them, they're grown adults, but they're my kids. As much as I'm teaching them, I'm learning. I'm learning from the best of the best of the best to become a better trainer, to train them all stars, because that's what, there's no such thing as bad wrestlers or bad performers, there's bad trainers, bad coaches. And if I can take one person to make them better, then I've done my job. So I feel like I'm fortunate, and everything kind of, like you said earlier, everything kind of came around and came full circle, and the perfect storm to build to where we are now. And things are going phenomenal. Journeyman is doing great. Training center is doing great. I got my 16th tag team partner. It's like the presidency. I got a 16th tag team partner. I wish we had Ballot Bills. Jeremiah Plunkett. We called it Journeymen. Pardon the pun. Hashtag believe it or not. Which kind of came about as a kind of an inside rib, him and I, one night when Chase Stevens, of all people, was running the locker room when James Carter was indisposed, and all of a sudden we're like the biggest baby faces in the damn Mid-South, and I've never in a million years, it's like a parallel universe. But it's, we've had a lot of help with groups like WrestleTopia and the New South group, and everybody's just been phenomenal. I mean, it was, hell, WrestleTopia is and I'm getting, you're behind the camera, so I'm not putting you over saying anything I wouldn't say to your face. You had a hand in building that whole first world premiere, red carpet premiere here in Hermitage in Nashville, and really put us on the map, with Journeyman. And that kind of gave us the ball rolling for other places like Indiana and so on. So everything kind of, like you said earlier, everything kind of snowballed into each other while everything was going to hell in a handbasket. Behind the scenes, there was like these, I imagine these little elves, and they're like working, like making little things, making little shows. Not elves like Shooter Storm, he's not, I wish he was dead. But you're, building this little empire that we have, which, here we are, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. And, who knows? It could be here today, gone tomorrow, so we just enjoy it while we got it.
So let's talk about Ring Warriors.
We have to.
This is your. Am I correct? This is the second go around.
This is like season 42. There's been so many incarnations of Ring Warriors, and talk about something again that really missed the boat. I mean, it's like I start to think about this, and I feel like I get a brain aneurysm over here, and then I start thinking about it, and I get a brain aneurysm over here. Again, you have. How many times can you have these opportunities? How many times can you have these golden gooses handed to you? Like Midas, is it a Midas touch? Whatever the opposite of Midas would be, that's what this would be. It's like, say Midas backwards, Sedum, it's like, and it's not for a lack of trying, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's like, literally, we joke, there's like season 8, like we joke, me and Bruce Santee, bless his heart, he'll every couple of months he'll text me, you ready for season 37? And it just keeps going up every year. It's like the ladder, when Bobby Heenan got Wrestle Soul, we're talking about ladder matches, the ladder was like 72 feet tall by the end of the thing. So, we're like season 762 at Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Ring Warriors. But, it started out, of course, anybody who does their research, it started out Howard Brody, Hiro Matsuda, got Wrestle Soul, and Hulk Hogan. Those were the three that were supposed to start. That essentially started Ring Warriors. Of course, Hogan peeled off, did his own thing. Might have went to WCW at the time. Of course, Hiro Matsuda passed away, so left Howard Brody, a.k.a. I like to call him the Mush. I love Howard Brody. He was the Mush, with Ring Warriors, and his soon-to-be partner, business partner, Larry Brannon, a.k.a. Vito DiNucci, one half of the New Heavenly Bodies with Chris Nelson. And both of those guys I came up with. I came up working for Howard Brody, against him and with him, part of the NWA, and he was former NWA president. And then, of course, Vito DiNucci, the guy I came up with and wrestled with and against, and then worked for the Ring Warriors. And very, very smart individuals as people, very smart men, very smart business-wise as far as the wrestling business, very good minds. But for some reason none of that equated to the success of Ring Warriors. Why? I've got my opinions. There was a lot of money wasted. There was a lot of mistakes made. With the ones that we did in Florida, we went for the PBS studios. which I was talking about earlier, and I money wasted. I mean, the place is enormous. You know, it was money wasted there, and then money wasted on fly-ins. I mean, money wasted on venues, money wasted on talent coming in. Who knows? I mean, I could literally go on and on about the things that went wrong. It wasn't for lack of talent, because there was a ton of talent there.
Except for Jeremiah Plunkett.
Except for Jeremiah Plunkett. I tried. He wasn't really well known at the time. He was a green kid, like he was like the young Tim Warner. He was blue lightning. He wasn't white lightning. Blue lightning.
Miss out on all the great opportunities. It seems like.
But, you know, it's crazy because if you think of the talent pool that was there, it was fantastic. You had, early days was Adam Pierce, was Steve Carino, was Scoot Angie, Fives. I mean, it was ridiculous the amount of talent that was there. You also had to mention my own name in that talent pool. And then of course, you know, we had the birthing. Because when I think of birthing, I think of, you know, like stuffing a watermelon to a pee hole. Right? Birthing. That's what I think of the Slambino. It's like birthing. It's like you know, and it gets better, and then and it gets better, and you feel like you're gonna die, and it pops out, right? That's what I felt like. It was like that from day one. You know, it was Vito Grasso, who Big Pete, my brother from another mother, big fat Pete Cannon, love Pete to death. He's my partner, terrible wrestler, but I love him to death. He's one of my best friends in the entire world. You know, and then we had AJ Genazzo, who by himself was a decent hand, but I don't think he ever really had the heart to do this. I think he had a lot of skill and he had a lot of talent, but you have to have it here and here in order to do this at a higher level. And I don't think he ever was really set out to do this at a higher level. I think he was meant to do it at an indie level, and that was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't take someone who's in that indie mindset and make them believe that you're going to be larger than life, because you got to actually believe it here and here. And if you don't, you're only going to go so far. Vito Grasso, who was really always about Vito. He was never about anything but Vito. Always has been, always will be. You know, which is ultimately why his demise ended up the way it was. And he was a fantastic worker in the ring. I mean, nobody takes away anything from him in-ring wise. He was one of the best that I've seen in the ring. Unfortunately, his ego and his inability to rise above anything but himself and put the show first. The one thing that I've always prided myself on, and I like to say always, probably within the last 15 years, is putting the show first, putting my partners first, putting other people first, because that's what this business is about. It's about building others, you know, because you can't last forever, so you got to build others to take your place when you move on. Okay? And unfortunately, there was a lot of that not going on, okay, within the Slambinos, which is ultimately why we ended up where we ended up. Along with the same lines, Ring Warriors. There was a lot of mistakes made. There was a lot of people brought in that weren't needed. A lot of money spent that wasn't needed. Again, starting and stopping. You know, we did PBS in Miami, and then we did like 2 or 3 tapings in Miami. Spent tons of money. I mean, talking $100,000 probably spent. Blown, gone, goodbye. Tampa, you know, same thing. You know, venue was kind of passe. It wasn't really up to Ring Warrior standards and what they really wanted for Ring Warriors. And you could see it on camera. It wasn't. You could tell they were scaling it back because they really didn't have a whole lot of money. And then at that point, I thought we were done. Goodbye. No more Ring Warriors. Fast forward a couple of years. I'm in Louisiana for Mania, morethanmania.com. WWN's week-long WrestleMania celebration. I'm horrible at commercials now. Morethanmania.com. Down in Louisiana for Mania a couple of years back, and I got a text from Larry Brandon. He goes, "Hey," he always calls me Kid, even though we're within like 3 years of each other, 4 years of each other. "Hey, Kid, we're getting ready to start up again." And the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I was in a really good mood, and I was like, "Yeah, woo!" I sent back Slambinos or something like that. Okay? Never really thinking anything was gonna happen. Next thing you know, I start getting phone calls, emails about, "Hey, we want to make you an agent, we want to put you in the ring, blah blah." "Hey, Howard Brody calls me. How about Vito?" I said, "Fuck Vito. Fuck Vito. His horse he rode in on. Fuck his ugly wife. Fuck him. Fuck his sister. Fuck all of them. I don't want it's either him or me. I don't want nothing to do with him. I'm either gonna have fun doing this or I want to do it all." You know, and so Howard was like, "All right, you know, that's fine. You don't have to do it. God, you want to thank you." I mean, I do a really good Howard Brody impression. But he called me like 6 times, and every time he called me, it was sliding Vito in some way. "Oh, maybe we do like a radio, you know, via satellite." No, absolutely not. It's either me or him. I'm not at all. Yeah, we don't like each other. It's not gonna work. It's either him or me. So of course they chose me, me, and you know, so we went to Vegas and we got all the stuff out of travel, and all of a sudden it was we got the call. Howard goes, "Hey, what'd you think about Disco?" I said, "Inferno?" He said, "Yeah." So I love Glenn. Glenn Gilbert's fantastic. You know, I've always been a big fan of his work. We met a couple times and worked with each other a couple times. So I knew that I had a feeling that we would click. I knew him and I did, and I knew him and Janaza would click, and we did. From the second we met and started talking, I knew we had a hit. We really did. And so for the first time in season 378, I think we had a hit. Like we had our group, we had our trio, right? And it's all we needed. Glenn, Janazo, and Ciatso. Bam, we got it. Slambinos, right? And we were off and running. And we did the vignettes, and we did the one was by accident, and we did the one in the parking garage because we actually lost the car, and so we ended up cutting this vignette on accident, and it was a hit. And all of a sudden, I start getting calls from, Steve Carino, this guy, that guy. Oh, hey, we're watching. We might steal you guys in a year. Making jokes, this, that, the other, something, and maybe we'll actually do something in Janazo. Maybe this will actually work, and we got in really good shape. Well, initially we came in fat, according to Howard. You guys are a little bloated on TV. You guys got to be in TV shape. Thanks, Howard. Thank you. Thanks for the vote of workout confidence. Nonetheless, we did. We came in bloated. Nonetheless, we got back in shape for the second tape. We came in literally like a Vaseline-coated ninja. Ran right through everybody. We had a blast. But we were a hit. And we weren't really trying. I didn't even think we hit our stride yet. Like, we were really creative with a lot of the stuff that we were doing. Had a lot of help back home from this guy JoJo Villanueva in Atlanta, and he was very creative with some of the stuff he did, and we were having fun, and I think that's where the key was. We were having a blast, and Glenn was such a fantastic additive. Yeah, what's that?
Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, absolute perfect in every aspect, and no ego, it was all business. He'd show up, work, see you guys tomorrow, and he'd go off to the strip club wherever he worked. He was the head manager or whatever strip club in Vegas, right? And we were in Vegas, for God's sake. We were in Vegas, tape of TV. We get the WGN deal, and I'm like, this is it. All of a sudden, my movie's getting aired on WGN, the commercials on WGN. I'm going, ah! WGN and TBS. Those are the super stations. You'll get bigger than that, right? Well, of course, Global Genesis is involved, and there's a lot of stuff that we didn't know. There's a lot of politics involved with TV and ads and then commercials and all this stuff and money and millions and thousands of dollars. And I wouldn't get any of it. But nonetheless, there's a lot of money involved. And when there's money involved, evil things happen, bad things happen, bad decisions get made, and there was a lot of hands in the pot, a lot of things that people that should have been running things that weren't, people that are paying attention to things that shouldn't have been, people that are on the shows that shouldn't have been. When I went back and watched the tapes and watched some of the shows.
Other than your vignettes, everything was horrible.
Oh, I was trying not to say it, but I remember sitting there, bless his
fucking
heart, Tony Mamaluke, I love him to death. I'm sitting there in Brooklyn with him, first show, and he literally took his remote and he threw it at me. And he goes, "This is crap!" And his voice went real high. He goes, "This is crap!" And he threw it at me. He goes, "Never watch this again." So when he walked away, I made sure to record every fucking episode of this thing. But it wasn't good. And I'm looking at this stuff, and I'd have to review the shows every week, and I felt myself really trying to find some really good things, and not putting them over because they're my friends, but the hot shots, I would say what you want about Chase and his partying lifestyle and this and that. Well, the guy can go. Cassidy Riley can go. These guys are 20 years older than these young guys that were on the show, and they can't hold a candle to these guys, ourselves included.
And they shot it all. Like they shot all the bad work, and they shot the bad shots.
Yeah.
And
The one that rings to my mind is it was a girls' match, and I can't remember who it was, but I remember they had
Santana Garrett.
It was Santana, and I love Santana to death. And
it was whoever she was.
I don't know who the girl was, bigger girl, but I remember she had a girl on her shoulders, and they were chasing the referee. It reminded me of like Clockwork Orange, like when they're running around with the gimmick, Gizildo.
Yeah.
Like big ceramic gimmick. That's what it reminded me of. And the poor referee gets headbutted by the girl.
And they shot the whole thing. They showed
like
everything.
Bushwhackers battering ram, but on the shoulder. It was very bad, and they didn't edit it out. And I wondered to myself, why didn't they do that? And you got guys that are legitimate. I mean, you got Jared Ganem, who's a fantastic producer director. David Marquez, Hollywood, NWA Hollywood, wherever it is, Hollywood in California. The show was running forever. So you got people who are legitimate TV people that were running the truck. Why did this stuff get edited out? I don't know. I wish I had people ask me that question all the time. I don't know. I didn't run the truck. I wish I did. I would have taken the whole tape and I would threw it in the sea, even though we were pretty far from the ocean.
But hopefully next season everything will be
season
cleared up.
428, we're coming back. He knows the wheelchair.
JP maybe?
Yep, he'll be there. He's going to be the first Irish, Jewish, American, German Amish Italian Slambino. So we're at season 621. We're moving yet on a horse. No electricity. But it was, I look back on it. I was watching the matches the other day because I got access to everything still. And so anybody who wants to buy those, just let me know. WrestleTopia.com. Talk to me after I'm back. When I look back on it, I look at the potential that we did have. All kidding aside, there was a ton of potential there. There was a lot of talent. Luke Hawks, and you got guys on that show that were just phenomenal athletes, phenomenal workers, wrestlers, Cahagas, and Michael Tarver, and it's just great talent. And unfortunately, the mistakes that happened weren't the wrestlers' fault. It was the guys that were running it, and the mistakes that were made were politic-wise and TV guy-wise, and that's something out of our control. But we had fun. I made good money. I went to Vegas twice, Grand Canyon twice. Went to all these things with my wife and had a blast in Vegas. And I can't really say anything bad about our trips out there. I had a blast, got paid decent. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you look back and you go, man, if you guys would have just listened, or if you guys would have just tweaked it here, or didn't spend so much here, or spent more here, we might have still been, we might be AEW right now, and God bless those guys because they're doing something that nobody's been able to do for a very, very, very long time. And again, not to sound like a fan, but I wish them all luck in the world because again, they're doing something that no one has been able to do, in what, 30 years, 25 years, and that's Impact withstanding. Nobody's been able to even come close to competing with anything that Vince is doing. So to be able to even be considered in that realm that in itself is a win, as far as I'm concerned.
So I mean, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, it's the best time to be a wrestler, the best time to be in the business, whether you're production, wrestler, referee, valet, manager, fan.
Opportunity.
Opportunity is we say opportunity knocks, and it's all over the place right now. It's doesn't matter where you are. You can make a living on the independents. You don't have to work for Vince, and that's not saying you shouldn't or want to get there, but you don't have to. Used to be back in the day, it was WWE, WCW, or Japan. WCW went away, it was WWE and Japan. And in Japan, if you got yourself there. Now there's a lot of places. Now it's just not big companies. Now you can work a league, you can work a territory area, you can work Texas, you can work the Southeast, the Northeast, the Midwest, California. You can work these areas and get by and do okay. And you're gonna drive a Cadillac, but you'll do okay. And it's the first time since Smoky Mountain, closed down. What was that, mid-90s? Since that's even been a possibility. It's amazing time, absolutely amazing time.
So let's finish up. So give a last word on Ron Nemi.
Human fucking tripod. Ron Nemi is the guy that whenever I do an interview or podcast or anything at all, if it was no Ron Nemi, there'd be no Francisco Ciatso. Of course, everybody knows me as Frankie Capone prior to that. I'll tell a story and then we'll close up with that. I remember I bugged Ron, and we show my age. It was when AOL had that burp, 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 burp. You start the AOL Messenger and you would wait for the messenger to come up and see who was online so you could talk to them, right? I would go to my friend Chris Carson's house because he was the only one with internet because I was poor. I didn't have shit. And so I go to his house and I wait. I was sitting at his house. He'd be like, you can't stay here all day. I was like, Ron Nemi's going to be online. He's going to be online eventually. He got it. And sure enough, he would get out. See Ron Nemi pop. It was Hardcore Giant, all one word. And I would ding, and it would come up as Chris Carson, of course. And he always would shit on Chris. And I would, hey, it's Frankie Capone from CCW, Bill Weaver, hey. And he wouldn't reply. He would just let it sit there like an asshole. And he would kayfabe me forever. And then finally I would see him at the CCW shows in Melbourne, on the east coast of Florida. And he would show up at Shane Twins at Jaguar. And I would stand there like a cheese line and wait to shake his hand like he was a godfather, kiss the ring. And he'd walk right past me. But I wanted to get on the shows because that was IPW was the thing. Anybody was tape trading, if you were tape trading, or IPW was Fat Frank and JPW. It was Ron Nemi at IPW. And you had Bill Behrens, in Atlanta, and you had these select guys that were running these areas, right? And then you had FOW down in Miami. So Ron was one of the guys. He ran Florida. So if you were going to get and break out of Florida, you had to go through Ron. It was just the way it was. So I knew that, and I wanted to get there. So I was after him, after him. CCW or online, and I was stalking him. I was like, I'm gonna get this son of a bitch on the phone. I'm gonna get him on the phone. Finally, I'm sitting on the toilet. My fiance at the time, my ex, and all of a sudden, the phone rings at the house. I pick it up. I was like, hello? Hey, it's Ron Nemi. Frankie Capone. Ron, I'm so glad to hear that. We ain't got time for that shit. Crystal River, June 10th. You and Jeremy Lopez. Pay's gonna be $50. Ron, thank you so much. Click. And I remember I dropped the phone. I didn't even wipe. I jumped up and ran. And my wife was like, my fiance at the time was like, what are you doing? I was like, Rodney, we just called him on IPW. Ah! She didn't give two shits. She didn't know what IPW was. She didn't care. She didn't know what Rodney was. I was excited because I was going, to me, I knew that was my stepping stone to get the bigger, better thing. Whatever that was, I didn't even know, but whatever it was, that's how I had to get there. And Ron was the guy, and it was he took a lot of chances on me. To this day, I mean, he'll shill me more than he probably should. But it's always been me and him, and we joke about Team Over and 911 Incorporated. But he had a lot of hand in building a lot of careers. You know, you see Roderick Strong in NXT, he came through Ron. You see MVP, he came through Ron. You know, you see Shane Twins, they came through Ron. You know, guys like David Young, you know, Christopher Daniels. I mean, you name it, they were coming through IPW. And you know, when you got a guy like AJ Styles, who also came through Ron, through Bill Behrens, you know, was sleeping on Ron's couch back in the day, and Luke Hawks, and you got all these guys with phenomenal athletes and talents that are out there today making real money, and as stars. They came through Ron, and Ron had a hand in their careers, including mine. You know, again, if there was no Ron, there'd be no me. And I mean, Puerto Rico and England, China, all these places. But more importantly, he was one of my best friends. He was like my brother, and hell, he was at my wedding. You know, I wanted to throw him overboard half the time, but I love him to death. And it's you know, there's never been a guy that loves it or more passionate about this business than he does, that I've seen. And again, you know, I've learned a lot from him, good and bad, not just about the wrestling business, but life in general. So he's definitely the guy that if I had to say there was, I owe everything to, it'd be him.
So put over your social media.
Yes, Francisco Ciatso, Facebook, Francisco Ciatso at Twitter, Francisco Ciatso at Instagram, and I think I'm probably the only straight man, don't call corporate, don't get hot, Effie, the only straight man that has a Pinterest, because I know Effie probably has several Pinterests. You can also reach my beautiful, lovely bride, my better half, not Jeremiah Plunkett, Stormy Lee at Facebook, Stormy Lee 327 at Twitter, Stormy Lee 327 Gmail or Instagram, and then I think she has a Pinterest too, but I'm not sure if she's straight or not. She might have would be a little flim flam.
Journeyman on Facebook.
Journeyman, yep, thank you. I'm glad Team Journeyman is in the house, because thank God. Journeyman Film at Facebook, and of course follow our friends 316 Productions, WrestleTopia, and Global Genesis Group, because if it wasn't for those folks, there would be no Journeyman. Because trust me, these guys have had to put up with my shit for 3 years plus, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do this stuff on my own. So I'm really thankful for them, and WrestleTopia especially, because I mean, hell, again, if you're able to make me look good on camera, you're fucking genius.
Right.
And close. Bam! Woo! $1 million.
JP, you want to come up here?
$1 million. $1 million right there. We're making $1 million.
We're gonna do what do we think of each other?
Oh.
What do we think of each other? What does JP think of? What does Frankie think of JP?
You're out for the shit.
I love when people call me and ask me what the deal was. Hey Frankie, what's the deal with the blah 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 blah?
Right now, I think Frankie's beat the shit because he's just more comfortable chair.
Fuck, I'll let you have the picture. Why does it say grandma?
That's what
you just now notice that?
That's your special chair, the grandma
I
chair.
can have grandpa? Should they're taking it off this?
Nope. Fuck.
Nope, that's why I sell it like that.
Beautiful. Who would have known 2 years later?
All right, you jabronis sit down. Let's get you both in frame.
Your ass is sweaty.
Yeah.
All right, so Journeyman, the shoot.
Does that
Take
mean
one.
this is- oh, okay. I thought that meant this
Journeymen.
Yeah.
I'd lose it.
So, Francisco,
Oh, yes.
why don't you start off and when did you first meet this fine young man,
Well, the
Jeremiah
funny thing
Plunkett?
was, we were promoting stupid AWA around Kentucky. I remember going into some convenience store, and I remember seeing a poster which I pulled down and put ours up. But it was Jeremiah Plunkett and Mr. I think it was Mr. USA on top. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I remember hearing Jeremiah's name, like with the carnies and stuff when I was in Florida. There's certain guys, and I said this to him today, there's certain guys that you hear over and over and over again. So you know that they're either worth the shit or they're shit. There's very little in between.
Right.
There's very little in between. I keep dropping this fucking bottle of water. So I'm just going to leave it down there before I hurt myself again. So I was either shit or good. So there's no in between. So, and then we would go to the town again, like the next week or next month, and the same poster would be up. I'd pull it down again, put it on one of ours. And
That shows they weren't updating the posters.
nope, not at all. Nope. So, but and then when I came here, I finally got a chance to meet him, and you know, just what I had read online and stuff. You can always tell when I see houses and I hear that they drew a packed house for a cage match or whatever. Like you don't hear things drawing anymore in the Indies. Like you very specifically that match drew. Like you don't hear that anymore. So the show draws or it's good just 'cause it's been built over time. But that match drew. Like the cage match they did and built to, they drew. Like what they did drew. They did their jobs and they drew the house. I mean, it's something you don't hear about very often or really at all anymore. So that really intrigued me. So, and I didn't know Mr. USA was. I didn't know that was him. I'm sorry.
Kayfabe.
He shows his tattoos. Why am I talking on the other side of my hand? But and then of course I got to meet James, and I had no idea the first time. I felt like a freaking idiot. I didn't know that was him until I saw him getting drunk. I was like, wait, hold up, that's of Christmas, like it was Santa Claus. You know, just minus the fat or presents. You know, we're a real fun time at all. But nonetheless, but I knew Jeremiah was a professional from the second we tagged together, and God, it was like 2 years ago. It was in that corner, and he reached into his gear, and he pulled out a Phantom gimmick, and gave him the Schnabitz, and then put the Phantom gimmick back in his gimmick, and tagged me, and I was like, I found love. I had a man crush. I was like, I love him. I'm going to be a world tag team champion of the universe with him in 3 years, and here we are. But he was a pro, and I could tell he was a pro, and not just because of the way he worked, but because he showed up. He didn't go over all his shit. He showed up. He was grizzled and miserable, like I was, and he was younger, which is even better. I was like a lot younger. He lets me know every day, and I was like, he's a pro, and I was like, I like this guy, and then I would watch him. I watch him work, and I watch him leave and come back and be gone for like 3 months, and then he'd come back. Hey, when do you come back? I don't fucking know. Whenever he brings me back, I don't know. You know, come up with his dumb tie-dye shirt, his short shorts, horrible dressing, but it worked. Like it works for him, and he's a good worker. He's a good hand. He's a pro. Like there's very few guys that I can look at and just go, they're a pro, 100%. From his cowboy boots to the way he works to the Phantom Schnabitz, the whole 9 yards. It just works, and it's him. You know, guys like Derek Neal, like they're all in the same like linear universe of just they're pros and they're wrestlers. If I had a lineup guys like a lineup of guys that go wrestlers, I would just go, that's what wrestlers look like, that's what you're supposed to look like. Go do what they're doing times 10. So
Jeremiah.
Real quick, you're the only one who's called me out on my short shorts.
I thought they were coach shorts.
Yeah, everyone else just like never says a word about them.
I think
they were really high and you know, really low socks. And I'm like, this guy is like, he's old
It's all
beyond his years.
leg,
He's young old. He's like 70, but he's not.
Before you fell in love with Frankie, what was your thoughts before you actually met Francisco? Everyone's heard of Francisco because if you're on Facebook, if you're online, Francisco is posting nonstop, constantly tagging everyone.
Well, we weren't friends
6
online
a.m.
then.
Oh, you weren't.
Yeah.
You didn't see the 6 a.m. 2 cups coffee to the gym.
Romantic.
It's a battle. Then
I
Tracy
wasn't
says it's a
tagged in
battle.
everything
Then,
he does.
2 cups. 2 cups. Bless Tracy's heart.
So the first time that you tagged with him, was that the first time that you had ever met Frankie?
I don't think he remembers this one. Actually, and it's funny because you may have tore down the poster you ended up being on the show at.
Probably.
It was Carthage, Tennessee. You were working for James, and I wrestled Mr. USA, not on top that night, because that's the night Chase and Chris went an hour and then cut a 20-minute promo afterward.
There was a string of those.
I remember that specifically. That was the first one of many that I was a part of.
That was the first time we met. However,
That's crazy.
I approached you. We talked.
Yeah, we said
but
hi. Yep.
that was it. I didn't know how fucking funny you were because I guess you didn't know a lot of the guys on the card. I mean, when there's some, so you weren't this guy.
I was very quiet.
And like that's me and Buzz were both there.
Yep.
That was the night. Some wrestlers drink, okay? Buzz had brought some Crown Apple for the boys to enjoy. We come back from our match, and Chase says, drink every bit of the Crown, the whole thing gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, see now you
Drunk Irishman, his face was red, and belly was out here. over his gimmick, and I'm like, and Chase is always in shape. He's always in shape. He was out of shape. Is better. Is in shape.
Right.
He was out of
Yeah.
shape. And his freaking gimmick. He looked pregnant. It was over his thing, and I know he's drunk. It was all round shouldered. I was like, he's fucked. And I'd never seen Chase drunk before like that. Never.
So yeah, we didn't know. So like, I remember me and Buzz leaving, going, "Hey, that Frankie guy, he's nice." Didn't really say a lot.
Not one bit.
And then I think after that, the next time I ran into him was here. We randomly tagged. Phantom Snape's been friends ever since.
Balls in the face spot.
Oh,
like, fucking
yeah,
beautiful.
a total accident. Balls in the face spot, but you still popped for it.
Yeah. And I called him. I was like, he's like, first time I ever saw anybody do a Phantom game was Jerry Lawler. You know, and of course as a kid you don't know what's Phantom games. So when you get older and you watch and you realize what you're doing, and watch him do it. And I'd never seen anybody do it until Jeremiah. So it's like I saw Jerry Lawler do it, but I never seen anybody do it on the indies because everybody's too cool. They rather flip, you know, point the gun and go like this, or slap their leg, or you know, go like, here's my finish name, and you know what's coming. They do all that stuff instead of paying a Phantom gimmick, kabang, put it behind, and all behind the referee's back too. So it was like the whole Phantom thing was behind the whole thing was just beautiful. It was like just magic, and I just stood there like this and watching it, just going. And hearts were like coming up in the ring. I was like, whoa. You know, but it
You
was,
say I'm that cool? I have dragon pants and a tie-dye shirt
well,
on.
with the dressing.
also-
You got New Balance shoes on.
Yeah,
which
New
are
Balance
very
shoes
old
with those
shoes.
stretchy.
Old
New Balance. Who still wears New Balance?
70-year-old men
Free.
and Jeremiah.
Free.
Well, and there you go. Old Jewish men. Jeremiah's not even Jewish.
So talk about
I don't wear any New Balance.
Journeyman, because Janaza was supposed to be here, right? I mean, that was the Slambino's debut
It was actually that night.
that night. That was the reason why.
Didn't he come before that and cut
Yeah, we
promos?
went to
He
Chicago.
came,
We were going to
yes,
Chicago,
yeah.
and he said, James goes, hey, stop here. We can't put you on the car because we're not ready yet. He goes, but we're going to be driving by here. Stop, we'll cut some promos, get some stuff in the can, pictures, everything, bring your stuff. And we were going to Chicago anyway for a show, so we had everything with us. Came here and cut about 4 weeks worth of promos in the
Yeah.
can. Everything.
They're up, too.
pictures,
Like,
they're there.
yeah.
Everything's there.
And you had to wear your sweet pants that you love
Yep,
wearing.
yep. I hate that fucking outfit.
When are we going to change for that outfit?
Never, ever, ever, ever. I think I threw it away. I think I put it in a fucking archive and never do this again.
Sorry, I can go get us some dress pants.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna put that right next to Howard Brody's book, Living with the Sharks. Swimming with the Sharks. But it was funny because that was the night. That was the night we were supposed to debut, and I remember coming up here and we had remember James telling me, you're gonna work what are the names? Singles, Jason Kane and
Chris Phoenix.
and Chris Phoenix.
The Memphis Kings.
Memphis Kings, and we worked them singles, and I'm just like, you know, I just didn't want to work singles. I was like, fuck. I was in tag team mood. So we get here.
Not only that, they were the tag champs.
They were the tag
too,
teams.
yeah.
So it was kind of like, the story was, it was supposed to be a Janaza working in singles. That breaks down, you see where that story goes. So anyhow, we'll be in Plunkett for Slambino's. So it was like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? What's the point? So Chase is running the locker room because James was on vacation in his mind. And leave it at that.
That was a crazy night.
Yeah.
That was a crazy night.
So Chase comes in with the
That
right
he worked the main event that night, right? That was the night that
Yes. He
Yes.
did work the main event.
Yes.
He was
Okay.
If he was
Yeah,
awake, I think he might have been awake for that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. But nonetheless, Chase comes up with the run sheet, which is really James' iPad, which is really just a yellow pad. Right? And he comes in, and me and Plunkett just meet Chase, and we go, "Hey, we got this idea." You know, and Plunkett goes, "Hey, what would we tag?" And we gave this big idea, and I remember Chase going, "Yeah, what you guys want to do?" Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever, it is what it is. Thanks, Chase. You're the man. High five. Woo! He didn't actually high five either of us. Put our hands up and just walk away. But nonetheless, we go out and we do this very simple Memphis-y tag where we just did a bunch of tags in and out.
Yeah. And I want to point out something too. You were over, but like that's what I'm saying. Like you were over, and I was like, they're not going to accept me as a babyface. It's like we had literally done like a half turn the week before with me and Derek, and they weren't sure about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
me and
like,
Stormy a couple weeks before that did like a promo where we talked about Journeymen and stuff, but it was we had no idea what we were walking into.
Yeah. Because I don't think you had been back the week before or something like that.
Nope.
Yeah. So we had no idea
Well,
what kind of reaction we were
luckily,
going to get.
anyone that's watching this can go back on WrestleTopia TV on YouTube and follow along and
that's
see the
good.
entire thing
He's a
and the
pro.
confusion leading up.
We came through that curtain and the crowd went nuts, and then you see it, and it was real, it was organic.
And you
and we
just
just turned and looked and smiled and mouthed, "What the fuck?" And we just, I don't know, and we just
Oh,
went
I
out.
didn't mouth it. I kept finding him and going, what the fuck is
Whose
going on?
idea was it for the? I mean, it all again perfect storm,
We didn't
right?
have any
Perfect
ideas.
storm.
We just did it. We just went out and walked. And he went one way, I went the other, and then we Top Gun high-fived. Need for
But what
speed.
about the song?
Oh, that didn't happen the first
Yeah,
time.
that didn't happen.
Oh,
the
it
first
didn't.
time. I don't know what we came out to. The first time.
Oh, your music.
I do.
Dun, dun, dun. Because I remember I came out and did this.
That's
Pop
right. You were
myself.
doing the
Yeah,
Tracy Smothers coming out. Oh, that's beautiful. I forgot of that.
No, the song.
He came up with the song.
Yeah,
I was
we
driving somewhere at like 4 in the morning. He goes, "Hey, you're probably." He always starts off with, "You're probably going to say no and hate it." He goes, "You're probably going to say no."
Because I'm doing things to entertain myself.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
I played the song while I was driving at 4 in the morning. Fucking pop the Texas Longhorn signs in the car. And he goes, "Wait, you like it?" I was like, "Yes, fuck it, we gotta do it." And then we were off and running.
And so, yeah, and it plays the first time. And at first, people don't know because they've never heard it, right? And I'm like, we finally killed it.
Yeah, we
Because this
killed
whole
it dead.
thing was a rib.
It wasn't supposed to happen.
And I'm like, we finally killed it. And then about halfway after the first verse, I start hearing a couple voices sing it. And then I hear more than a couple voices singing it. And I'm like, frankly, they're fucking singing it.
As we're behind the curtain.
Yeah, this is
they're
happening
singing it.
right there.
They're singing it. Are they really singing it? No, they can't be singing it. Well, they're singing it. You can
And
hear
so
it.
of course, we're going to come out at Ready or Not. And we come out and it's like, Ready or Not. We're like,
And they came alive. A true test was hard. Like that's what James. I remember James called me. He goes, "If you guys were over in Hardin, this might work." You know, Hardin's a little difficult, a little different crowd. And
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
You know, they're
well, the last time they seen us too.
yeah, we're fuckheads.
Right.
And so we get behind the curtain and
Guess
we
they're
do
all
hits.
watching on WrestleTopia TV. Huh?
But now they are. They are
That's
all
it.
watching the WrestleTopia TV.
Music hits and the crowd. They don't know what. They still know what to make of it. So they're not quite singing yet. And then the thing hits and we come out and he launches off the fucking steps.
Yeah, because
And
I'm
I
trying to miss that
was
step.
like, "Oh shit!" And he went, and I was like, "I'm not doing that." And I kind of hopped down, and he just fucking one finger in the air, and the crowd came alive. And I was like, "Oh, well, fuck this."
I'm not gonna launch anymore. Last time I did that without
Woo!
you there,
I
I ate shit. It was bad. It hurt so
Fuck.
bad.
That damn turf monster came up and did that.
Who had the coats in the car?
Actually, funny story. He had his black coat, the black. You had the black one, right? That
Yep.
night. And
Oh,
he-
I had both of them. I had my blue because when
That's
we
it.
took the impromptu
Yep.
pictures,
He
I was
gave
like,
me
oh,
his. He gave me his black one. He wore the blue one, and because I had my leather, so it wasn't. We tried to match a little bit.
Uh-huh.
As best we could. And here we go. And that was it. Because you see, there was a picture that you
we
took.
still don't have matching gear. It's
Not yet.
hilarious.
It's okay. It's all right.
I can't get the gear I ordered 4 months ago, Coy Phillips. Anyway,
I figured you got it from Jack Lord.
Oh,
Steals it.
oh.
But there's
I get mine from Coy and it's good stuff. It just takes a
Kool-Aid?
while.
Coy
Coy
this is
Phillips.
Kool-Aid. I was like, Kool-Aid? Fuck, I want to get my gear from him just because his name's Kool-Aid. But there's one picture you got of like threw one finger in the air,
Uh-huh.
and I used that picture actually to tell a story at the school. And I said, guys, don't pigeonhole yourselves into a certain gimmick. Like don't typecast yourself. I said, you never know when something's gonna work. I said, and we're like the modern era fucking ding dongs, just without the bells and
Can we get
talent.
bells?
Well, we can. I'm sure we get bells. We get whatever we fucking want. I don't think anybody cares. Because I guarantee somebody's going, this got to die this week. There's no fucking way. And just keeps going.
That was me for the first month or so.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
here's how we kill it.
Stormy
And we
would
don't
ask me-
want to kill it. That's the
And
thing.
it's
We're
like-
having a blast.
That
It's a
song
blast.
comes on, you guys come out, and the crowd
It's
just eats it up. It's just,
fun.
it's perfect. It's fun.
They're
It's
having
fun.
We're
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
And
I'm convinced they feel that. We had this discussion earlier because we're talking about we still don't get it. I'm convinced that they're just like, they're having fun. We're having fun with them.
Yeah,
and
that's
can-
what it
sense
is.
it. They can sense it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's organic. There's no rhyme or reason. And it's kind of like the love that my wife Stormy has for me. It's organic. And I can't really explain it. She adores me, and I'm a good human. And she fucking hates me, actually. I'm gonna
Put out a life insurance policy.
I know.
Think
I'm just
you're
gonna drink a lot
die.
of vodka and probably just drive off a cliff. That's a whole list. Sorry. I got lost. But
Before you do that, I'll loosen the hood on your car.
you can't touch my LJNs though. You touch my Hasbro's, your
I don't
LJN.
want
I'm
your
burying with.
No, I'll
my
take your
toys.
Hasbro's. I don't care about LJN.
Nope, bury me.
Big bricks of rubber.
Bury me with my shit. But it's organic. Honestly, I wish we could explain it. Like somebody asked me, how did you guys plan that? I wish we did. It was a joke. The whole thing was a joke. It was a rip kind of on James and Chase both, and it kind of backfired on us in a good way, I guess. And we got T-shirts coming out, and they look fantastic. You got a great design on them, and we're having fun. Like that's it. Like we're having fun, and when it stops being fun, and then we'll turn. I'll throw through the barbershop window. I'll go on to headline WrestleMania, and he'll be
We've already
like
discussed
Lance
it.
Cassidy or whatever that thing was.
Leaf Cassidy.
Leaf Cassidy. That one. What did I say? Lance Cassidy.
Yeah.
Leaf Cassidy. Yep. Jeremiah Cassidy. Not
Well,
Riley.
we kind of discussed this though. We're going to be like the modern day Greg Valentine and Bruce Beefcake. We're going to be in sofas, no shirts
No shirts on.
belly
With
out.
and a thing of peanuts.
Yeah.
Just fucking sitting there, just freaking grizzled, miserable, and I'll have nipple rings.
Oh, you're going to get the nipple. I was wondering which ones those
Yeah,
You know, you brought something up, and so like, let's make this a
Touch
teachable.
something up. Nipple rings.
Nipple rings.
Let's make this a teachable moment because you said something about how you talk to your students, and being able to just at any point, you know, if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, you guys are together, you got to figure something out," you know, or if today, Frankie, I need you. WWE called and they got a spot on TV and you need to be a lawyer today. You know, right? You just gotta go into it.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I'll never forget in Knoxville.
It's got to be my cousin Benny.
In Knoxville, I told you guys right after a match. You guys had just finished a match. You and Stormy and Shane, and I said, "Hey, do you guys want to do a promo real quick?" Like as you're walking to the back, and before you immediately said yes, and we were ready to do it, and you shot it just on the cuff immediately. I filmed an entire show at the National Fairgrounds for a big, you know, a show that cost a lot of money. I can't tell you, out of the 25 wrestlers on that show, I shot 2 promos. 2 promos. Total. The whole night. Nobody had time. They had to get into had to think about what they were going to do. You guys tag teamed. Fucking Journeymen. Hashtag. An over theme song, you know. I mean, T-shirts, merchandise coming out, you know, all on a whim, on just a whim.
Well, it's you know, you talk about teachable moment. I mean, to Jeremiah's credit too. I mean, he's a trainer at tried and true.
I think that's the reason why I said that is that both you guys have an opportunity to kind of talk about your feelings on that because you just have to be able to do it.
Well, you know, I've been a fan of his work for a while now. So, all kidding aside, and you don't get a chance to run a school like that if you don't know what the hell you're doing. So Crimson and Bram aren't going to put somebody in that position if they don't know what they're doing. You know, I like to think that I know what I'm doing. Sometimes, some days I wonder. But I really believe Sal's been successful because he knows what he's looking for to run that school, which is why he has me in the position he's in. Are we perfect? No. Sure, we make mistakes. We're no different than anybody else. But I think that we have a gift to be able to give back in a way. And identify talent, and again, cultivate that talent to our own work, and be able to show. Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've taken matches that you recorded, and matches of ours that we tagged or whatever recently, and shown it to my students. So I said, hey, I want you to pick out the mistakes. I want you to take this, pick it apart. Not because I'm your coach, or I want you to tell me how good it is, because the stuff that's good I know is good because it's good. I want you to pick it apart. Tell me what we did wrong, what we could do better, what you think could be done better. And I use my stuff as a like you said, teachable moment, and use myself as an example. You know, with both good and bad. You know, the one thing I did explain to them was, you know, take every opportunity for what you get, what's given to you. You know, we were presented with an opportunity that we didn't even know. We did as a joke to kind of pop ourselves, and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. On a good note. You know, but it's been, you know, taken on a life of its own. A lot really in part to what Plunkett does. 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he goes, hey, what about this? I know you're gonna say no, but what about this? And hey, what about that? And it's from the design of the shirts and all that stuff, the creativity part of it is all him. You know, so it's awesome to be able to finally have a partner that knows what the fuck they're doing. Jesus Christ. Only took 16, like 16 divorces. Fuck.
I don't know, man. I teach my kids a lot from fuck ups I've done in the past, and I've done plenty. I'm getting older in this, and like not as old as this guy in this, but I'm getting older, and I think I'm just to the point where I don't care what I look like anymore. I guess in the mindset of, for a long time I wouldn't do something because I thought it was stupid, or I felt just physically I've got anxiety bad, man. So if I get in the ring and I feel stupid, you know, it's going to trigger my anxiety. It's bad. I guess now I just have finally gotten to that point where they say that and I guess he's been here for a while, that all people reach at a certain age where you stop giving a shit. And you realize at the end of the day that this is murder, ballet, and spandex.
Wow, so, I don't think I've ever heard that before.
I stole it somewhere.
Murder, ballet, and spandex. Yeah. That's pretty damn. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if you do a comedy spot and makes me look like an ass, what's it hurt me in real life? If we go to Denny's to get my moons over my hammy, is that guy going, "No, you look like an idiot, don't spit in your food"? No, he's going to spit my food anyway because he works at Denny's. So I'm going to eat spit anyway.
Have fun doing it.
What's it matter if you did a spot where I fell on my ass and looked like an idiot? You know what I mean? And I started wanting to have a lot of fun in this, man. I think I got me personally got too bogged down in trying to make it,
Yep.
and that can be mentally fucking damning. And hey, those people who can stay with that goals and stay on that track, it's awesome. I wish I could. I think it gets to that point where you guys just stop giving a fuck, man, and not in a bad way. I still want to do good performances in here, and now that I'm training, I want to do even better. And now
better for them, better for the kids
yeah,
too. So
and now I'm babyface, so I got to throw arm drags and shit.
You gotta have a real strong back to carry me. I don't give shit.
Shit.
I'm the big ascension. When Ryan watches this, he'll know what I'm talking about. I'm the big ascension of the group.
No, this is for real. This is the guy who every time before we're going to go on the curtain, I'm going to grab that rope and do nothing.
All night.
And then I'll think I ran a good spot. He'll run one twice as long, and I'm like, God damn it!
Yeah.
I'm having to doing nothing.
Yep. Nope. I can't. I try, but it's when you're having fun out there. Nothing hurts. Nothing bothers you. You kind of just lose it. You lose it into the crowd, and you have fun. They become part of you. You become part of them. And it sounds cheesy, but it's real. It's organic, and you don't have to try. It's not work. You just go out and you do it, and it works. That's the way it should be. It shouldn't. Guys make this stuff so complicated, guys and girls, and I do a lot of producing and agenting too, and it's mind-numbing to see how many guys and girls aren't having fun. They made this such hard work, and they make it so hard on themselves, not physically but mentally. Like and again, the term "making it" to me is all relevant. It really depends on what your version of making it is. I mean, it's
your fulfillment. If you're being fulfilled.
We traveled the world. We talked about today. He's been Australia. England, Puerto Rico.
Travel the world one place.
He's been, just follow my lead here, kid.
Gotcha.
So
I'm over.
Everywhere I've been, he's been. But honestly, how many people have been to Australia?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you in this town that we're sitting in, probably none. Okay? So to somebody on the outside, they see somebody goes to Australia to work and do what they love. Well, that's pretty damn big. I mean, that's not going to Mobile, Alabama. That's on the other side of the world. Okay? So
you ever been to Mobile? It's pretty dope.
Well, it is the other side of the world, but in a different way. It's like a freaking alien fest, weirdo. Jack Ward lives there. Another one. To me, it is relevant. I mean, it is relevant to what you're thinking, what you're doing. I mean, I spent 2 years in developmental, Impact, Ring of Honor stuff, and Evolve, and WWN. So you could say, oh, you made it. You walked down WWE Rampway, or you made it. You went to England. It's all relevant to what to me, when I look back on what I've done in 18 years, it's a pretty cool shit, and had a lot of fun. I met a lot of people. Had I gone to law school like I had originally planned, I would have never in a million years had the fun. Yes, I was going to go to law school. Trust me, would have been the worst idea of my life because I wouldn't have lasted a year.
You would have been a legit my cousin Vinny.
I know, fucking 2 Utes. My biological
You're not
clock
seeing
is
my
ticking
cousin.
like
He's not popping on this. I thought he hadn't seen my cousin Vinny.
He's popping on the inside. But it's you think about what you've done, and I mean, he works with one of the biggest companies in the Mid-South. So with some of the best talent coming in and out. So you think about that. There's a lot of people that don't get that opportunity. Don't get that chance to work with Chase Stevens or Damian Wayne or Crimson or Jack Stain, and you work with these guys and Dutch Mantel, and these are guys and girls that watched on television, and we get a chance.
He's in a fucking commercial, for God's sake.
That popped me so big, I didn't even know he did it, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and I'm like, I see
okay,
Red
I thought you were
Lobster.
about to say it aired in.
No.
What, like Jesus Christ.
No, it aired in Poughkeepsie once at 3 a.m. So I see the Red Lobster endless shrimp thing, and I'm like, why did he share the endless shrimp thing?
Oh.
Because the bit,
right.
So I click on it thinking this is going to be an endless shrimp fucking thing because I wanted to see it because I like the endless shrimp bit. And it's fucking Chinley's commercial, and I'm like, Stormy, get over here. Look at this fucking commercial. She's like, why isn't the endless shrimp thing? No, it's not the endless shrimp thing. It's fucking, and the commercial was fantastic. I couldn't tell you what the cell phone company is. I don't care.
It's Advanced Financial.
Oh, Advanced Financial. Okay. I thought it was on cell phone. Whatever, same shit. So,
but we could redo that whole thing and just do it about the actual phone. I'm calling Alex.
But he was on the phone, right? He was on the phone. Okay, so I'm not that crazy.
My chinlock really sucks.
But I popped so big. I watched it a dozen times, and I showed it to my students, and I said, "Look at this." And a couple of them said, "Well, who's that?" And I said, "You're fired. Get out." I fucking show you the matches every goddamn week. What do you mean, who's that? So I said, "Look at this. These are two guys." I said, "They're pros." I said, "And they're having fun. They're doing this commercial." I said, "I don't even care what the commercial's about." I said, "They're having a blast doing it, and whether or not they get paid or not is irrelevant. Who knows well, Advanced Financial is a legitimate company. I hope you got paid."
What we're getting?
A hot dog and a ham sandwich and a hot dog or whatever.
Actually, a ham sandwich sounds pretty good.
Advanced Financial is a big company. That's a pretty cool deal. Like,
Yeah.
Again, that's one of those fun things that you look back on and you go, that's pretty cool. Nobody can take that from you.
Yeah.
And that's important. You look back on the things that people can't take from you, your experiences, your places you've been, went to, things like that. You can't. Those are educations you can't buy. You know. I mean, shit. Whether it's even the tried and true student shows, being able to see those students, you know, progress and get better. The girl that you had here, it was a couple weeks ago, blonde girl that was working in the ring. I can't think of what her name is.
Brittany.
She has black hair, but all right,
She has black hair or she has blonde hair?
Well, she's got the streak.
She has a blonde streak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. Like, I know it was blonde somewhere.
I'm sitting here like,
fuck, she was blonde somewhere. But I remember seeing her months back, and her progression is night and day difference from then to now. And some of the things that she wasn't doing then, she's doing now. You know, is in a good way. And so that's a tribute to the training she's getting, you know, the direction she's getting. So again, that's another form of making it. You're able to do something that somebody else is not able to do. Training isn't easy. You know, it doesn't, just because you're good in the ring doesn't make you a good trainer. You know, just because you made it to WWE, it doesn't make you a good trainer. There's plenty of guys that are under contract that can't train anybody.
So let's go ahead and let's end the video by each one of you guys giving 2 trainees that you really see something in, and the names for people to check out. Maybe check them out on social media. Of course, it doesn't mean that anybody's better than the other. Just two people off your head.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Go ahead.
age before beauty. Brittany Garcia, she's going out there and she's putting work in. She, what, because I cut you off?
She is good.
No, she's doing good. She's starting to find herself a little bit. She's sending me every one of her matches, and I send her back at least a page of notes.
Good.
And then she sends them to Steve as well, and he sends her a page of notes. And I'm happy to report that they match, because I was like,
that's a plus. That's
I was like, oh god,
that's a plus.
But no, she sends me every match she gets on film, and I still break down every one.
She has an attitude, too. A really good attitude. And women's wrestling these days is rough.
Yeah.
It's not easy to coach, deal with, train, direct.
There's a lot of women's wrestlers. There's a lot of competition.
That, and they've got a lot. To their credit, they've got a long road to hoe. You know, they've got an uphill battle. It's a man's business. I don't care if that's not sexist. It is what it is. You know, being a firefighter is a man's business. Okay? Being a race car is a man's business. So if you're a woman in a man's business, you got to work double, triple hard sometimes to get that respect. And you know, they do have a harder time. Sometimes what comes along with that is a little bit of ego, and you know, you have to deal with that too. So what you do again as a trainer, producer, director, you have to know how to deal with that. You know, but to see where she's come from is night and different. So
Who else, Plunky?
We also got out there Peyton Polson's doing really, really good.
Yeah. He's landing bookings everywhere right now.
He's doing good, man, and he's really of that as much as I can work. I'm going to try to work, and that's good. Yeah, I'm really happy to see what he's doing, because we were wondering, he's very small, you know what I mean? And skinny,
real skinny,
too, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he's a shorter guy, but I mean not obscenely short.
size?
No, but he's very thin.
Yeah, but he's thin. Yeah, he might be thinner than Marco. You know what I mean? But so we were wondering if he's going to be able to stick it, and like at one point during training, like he's getting banged up a lot.
Small, your body's not big. You know, you don't have a lot of cushion.
Yeah, so he's finding his style and developing himself, and I think he's going to do all right. He needs to get some new tights, and I tell him that all the time, and he's finally looking into some, because yellow is not a good color. Yeah, do bright yellow.
Oh.
And yellow kick pad cover, because I know you love kick
Did
pads.
he get it on like the high spots in stock gear?
That I don't know. He showed him up. He's like, "Here's my tights." I'm like, "Those are."
I guarantee you, with the high spots in stock,
yellow.
and
Or
just like
Wish.
a grab bag and just send them whatever they
Wish.com.
had.
Hey, you
Wish.
do not talk about
That's
Brandon
creepy.
Wolf that way.
That's creepy. That Wish.com is creepy.
What about
Somebody
you,
tried to
Frankie?
sell me like a baby's face or something on there.
Did it come because you looked at 37 cock rings?
What does it have to do with the Hill of Beans?
Because everything that Wish shows you,
Cock
there's an
rings and baby
algorithm.
faces? I'm so lost.
That's why
So
it's
it's
always
like people
showing
do
me powdered substance. That one day it came up with a bullet, a little
Go back
Coke
to
bullet,
power-
you know?
What now?
Chalk for
All
powerlifting.
corporate. Okay.
Bless you.
We don't
Bless
have
you.
wellness-
Chop.
wellness policies
Chop.
yet.
What I'm saying, Wish is showing me this stuff. Not that
So-
I'm doing any of this stuff.
It's so weird. Kelsey Heather is probably my first pick. She debuted on Do or Die, the pay-per-view, WWN's NXT's recruitment camp. Had a pay-per-view for all the trainees that came through that did fly. Wasn't fly, I'm not crazy. But she did fantastic, and nobody believed me. And I was sitting next to Ciampa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Champa.
Champa. I'm horrible with his name. I butchered his name sitting next to him, and he just kept looking at me, shaking his head. And he asked me.
It's like, all right, Kiai.
Yeah, exactly. So
Keystone.
No shit. So he asked me how many matches she had, and I said it was her first one. And he said, "You're full of shit. There's no way it's her first match." And Gabe didn't believe me. Sal knew, but Gabe didn't believe me. But it was her first match, and she asked me what she should do to camp, and I said, absolutely. She's a former Tampa Bay Bucks cheerleader. She's a former Tampa Bay Lightning cheerleader. She's currently on the cheerleading squad for Orlando Magic. So she's no stranger to being in front of a crowd, no stranger to performing. So I knew that she was a natural, and she had a look from NXT about a year ago, and Hunter had told her, get some footage. You need some in-ring work. I need to see some on HD camera, some work. We can do promos all day long and talk, but I want to see you in the ring and see how you work-wise. She's in phenomenal shape. Good attitude. She's a little spitfire. I like that. She's no nonsense, but she wants to learn. And she's got a ton of energy, and it comes out in her work. She came out and killed the promo. Coach Brookside and Coach Regal loved it, so Gabe loved it, and she came in and produced me in the ring, and we had a 5-minute pay-per-view match and killed it. When we kind of came together and hit her negatives, accentuated her positives, and she came away with a really, really good rapport with WWN as a whole. So she's going to be my standout. If you ask me a year from now, I bet my last dollar she's going to be, I'd be sending her to NXT in about a year. So when she's I'd say probably about 26, 27. So she's at that ripe age right now. She's smart. So she's not a young kid, no trouble, and she's a great athlete. I think second would probably Richard Bonnell. He was my first student. He came to me at 306 pounds. He's 198, I think, now.
Wow.
So in about a year and a half, he's lost a small child. And I remember he came to me. It was Sonny Blaze. I don't know if you ever remember Sonny Blaze.
I know who Sonny Blaze is.
Sent him to me, and Sonny Blaze became a very good friend of mine over the
UWF
years.
guy?
WWE. He was the first. Actually, he was.
No, UWF.
Oh no,
the Herb Abrams one.
No, Sonny
This
Blaze.
was WWF job guy.
Yeah,
guy. He actually, he's known to.
John Arezzi. The John Arezzi has a podcast, and Sonny Blaze used to be on his radio show, and so they're constantly playing clips of the radio show on the podcast, and so I know exactly who Sonny Blaze is.
His claim to fame was Undertaker's first TV match. He was the enhancement guy for Undertaker. So he calls me up one day. He goes, "Hey, he's Brooklyn guys. Hey, Frankie, I got this kid to send your way." And I said, "Okay." That was my first student. He goes, "I know you got training center open, and send him your way." I said, "Okay." So he says, and this kid walks in. 300 pounds, completely out of shape. And I asked him what his goals were. What are your goals? What do you want to do? And he goes, I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. I want to be alive, first off. He goes, but I want to be a wrestler. And I said, what have you ever done athletic? He goes, I played baseball. And he goes, I just got really out of shape. And here I am. And I said, okay, I want to make you 2 promises. You're going to learn more about yourself than you ever will in your entire life. I said, secondly, you might figure out this ain't for you. So those are your 2 promises. I can't tell you which one it's going to be. So I said, stick with me. I said, I promise you you'll learn one of those at the end of this tenure. And he stuck with me. And now he made his debut 3 months ago right at about 200 pounds. He was 203 when he made his debut. In fantastic shape. Wore the Journeyman jacket.
That's the one who's wearing the Coverdale jacket. Yep. Okay, right on. Yep.
I'm extremely proud of this kid. He's tons of heart. I wish I could take his heart and multiply it because it wasn't very easy. What we do didn't come easy for him. I'm actually not crying. I got a gnat in my eye. Bugs.
It's okay.
I'm calling
It's
corporate.
2019. It's all right to cry.
I know.
It's okay, Grandma.
I
don't care.
But he didn't give up. I mean, he tore his quad once, or partially tore his quad, and he refused to stop. He came every day. Sick.
You put him in the line camera on top of the
table.
I
did. He came sick. I made him sit in the car, not to get everybody sick, but I wanted him to watch. So he'd pull up to the bay door and watch in his car and take notes because I didn't want to get anybody sick.
But he wouldn't stay home. I'm not laughing for bad. Yeah. That's tremendous.
He did not want to stay home. And I said, well, you can't come here because you can get everybody sick to defeat the purpose. He goes, well, I want to be there. And I said, here's what we'll do. I said, I'll open the bay door for you. I said, you just have to sit in your car, take notes. And he did. And he came. I didn't think he was going to, and he did. But he's become my leader. I call him the foreman. We got him a little construction hat that says foreman on it because he runs the setup and tear down. And it gives him something to do as a leader. And he worked his ass off. And he debuted. I took him to Miami with me with the Headbangers, and they gave him really good feedback. He worked his ass off down there in a little 5-minute spot. And anything I need him for, he's there. He was driving a ring truck one day, and the serpentine belt broke, I guess is where the serpentine belt broke. This kid walked into Walmart, bought a thing of pantyhose, came out, tied the pantyhose, and made a serpentine belt, and got that truck to the building. Make sure IPW went off that day. I remember he told me, when Ron tells me, he goes, the ring truck just got here. Richard put pantyhose in the serpentine belt. I said, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but it's fucking fantastic. But that's the kind of kid he is. And, will he make it to WWE or make it on, like I said, everything's relevant. Who knows?
Right.
There's more of a chance that he won't than he will. But I don't think he cares. I think he just wants to be a wrestler, and that's what he's doing. And he's having fun doing it, and he's my foreman. And those would be my 2 picks, and I'm probably most proud of. That if I was to take on the road with me right now, without a doubt, I would take him right now. Both. So.
Put over both schools?
Tried and True Academy at triedandtruepro.com.
Where's that work? WWNTC.
As many times as you put it on Facebook.
I know. No one shares more than Frankie.
WWNTC, World Wrestling Network Training Center, 8823 Olmerton Road, Largo, Florida. Give us a call at 727-401-2836. Help make those dreams reality.
Smile. Yeah, there it is.
That's a way better plug than mine.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We'll get you a kid.
All right, hold on. So we're done, but
Now this we're just gonna make out on camera.
Now there's more
Christmas
because
connection?
you I need you to discuss Sonny Blaze right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Tell me how you met him,
Okay.
how you know him, what he's like.
Yeah.
Um,
He actually owns a vape shop right in Newport Richie, like right around the corner. His real name's Al Schaefer. He's fantastic. Fucking awesome.